Dat klopt. Hè. Dat is denk ik wel begrijpelijk. Er is veel werk te doen daar. En logisch, hè, bij iedere club is er veel werk te doen. En het werk van de manager ligt hem vooral ook in voorbereiding. En daar moet natuurlijk ook op gedaan worden ten aanzien van juist die voorbereiding. In de staf moeten nog een aantal dingen georganiseerd worden. En ook de selectie natuurlijk. En daar gaan wij ons de komende dagen, of vanaf morgen dus eigenlijk, intensief mee bezighouden.
Erik Ten Hag, ladies and gentlemen. He is now manager of Manchester United. Feels like we've been waiting for it for a long time. The season with Ajax is finished. Erik Ten Hag there explaining that he's not going to be joining their post-season celebrations. He's going to be starting straight away and intensively working on the Manchester United job. We all know that he's got such a big job. He knows he's got a big job. Clearly, that's why he's cutting that short and not going on holiday. But what I'm going to do in this video is run through his first full interviews as a Manchester United's manager with both Voetbal International and De Telegraaf out in Holland. I've managed to get them once behind a paywall. It's been tough. I've got them. Let's run through it. Trust me, there is so much information in this video where he goes into real detail as to exactly why he took the Manchester United job. Let's waste absolutely no time and let's dive straight into this. As I said, I'm going to run through this transcript with you and we're going to discuss the points. It's the exclusive interview with Voetbal International and also an interview with De Telegraaf. Let's run through this, ladies and gents. It's going to be a good one. So please, if you would consider, drop a like on the video by the end of it. I think you're excited and so am I. He was asked about whether or not he would move the announcement of him becoming Manchester United's manager, and he said this. He goes, no, a lot had already leaked out and the questions kept coming. We just brought it out when everything was settled. In the first weeks, when the outside world got wind of it, there was really no agreement yet, while many assumed that it had been completed. But the time had not come yet, sorry. First, all signatures had to be on the paper. I wanted everything to be right with United. As beautiful as the club is, I would never just step into it. I wanted to be able to create good working conditions, so everything had to be well organized down to the last detail. And honestly, this deserves, where is it? I don't know where my soundboard is. This deserves a little round of applause. Where is it? That one right there. It's cheesy. I don't care. I'm playing it. That's what we need at Manchester United. We need that organization. We need somebody who's got the determination to come in and lead that. And that's exactly what he's said the whole way through, and he's maintained. But trust me, when you get into this interview, really into the meat of it, it's fantastic to hear what he has to say about United. So you definitely want to stick around and watch it all. Let's go to the next part here. He goes, he was asked when he made the decision to leave Ajax. He goes, that was not so long ago. Actually, only after the talks with United, which only started in the last international match at the end of March. Those conversations were so good that I got the feeling I want to take on that challenge. Then it started to come to life in my head, and I made the decision that I would leave Ajax. If you go down there, it's just it's the way he says things. I want to take on that challenge. United is a challenge of significant proportions. The far bigger challenge than he's ever had at Ajax, and he probably ever will have again. I would say it's the hardest job in football. It has been the hardest job in football since Fergie retired, and nobody's been able to do it. Can he do it? He wants to do it, and he's coming head on to take on that challenge. And that should really excite United fans to hear him speaking about that there. And he was asked over there, he goes, you weren't the only candidate, were you? He said, I do know that United have gone through a very careful procedure. They also knew a lot about me. They had done scouting, made analysis, gathered data, had interviews with people who have worked with me. Several rounds of discussions followed from there. So they didn't happen overnight, and me neither. And maybe when you think about this, and you go back to this little point here that he said, he goes, I wanted to take on that challenge. And he spoke, sorry, it wasn't that one. It was one before where he speaks about the minute details. Maybe Erik Ten Hag was impressed with Manchester United's approach to this. Maybe he was impressed at the fact that they spoke to loads of other people, had all this research done on him. Because at the same time, he interviewed United. As he said there a couple of minutes ago, we were speaking about it. He was speaking about it. United's a great club, but I wouldn't just walk in. Everything had to be right. Now, this bit here, this is probably my favourite part of the whole interview because he goes into real detail as to why he chose Manchester United. He goes, it felt different, but a great challenge. Sorry, it felt like a difficult but a great challenge. That is also the most beautiful thing there is. There is also something to build at United and something to gain. Manchester United is such a big name in football history. It feels like a challenge to put the club back on track of winning. Old Trafford is nicknamed the Theatre of Dreams for a reason. It is a club with name, fame, and allure in international football. Everybody knows the history of these beautiful teams, from Sir Alex Ferguson and, of course, also further back in time, the great team of the late 50s, which suddenly, obviously, the Munich air disaster. The history is impressive. I also started to delve into the present and the future and the options that are available. They are there, also financially. If you also get a good feeling about the people who are there, then the picture is right. And then the factors are present to take this step. As I said, for me, that's probably the best part of the interview, because it really shows how much Ten Hag has thought about this and how much he knows what he's taking on. He wants to get United back to the top. That's the ambition. I told you about that before. That ambition is so important. We need that, and we need that the sort of players that we need to sign now have that same sort of ambition to get United back to the top. It's not just about coming and earning 250 grand a week and putting your feet up, which is what United have done. He set the right tone with the work ethic by not joining that post-season celebration with when he would have been completely. Nobody would have begrudged him to do that. He deserves that. But instead, he's decided to start work immediately at United, and it's the perfect start for me, because it shows United fans the sort of ambition that he has, the work ethic that he has, and hearing him speak about why he chose United just gives you that real insight into the manager that we've got. He was also asked about his legacy at Ajax, and I think this is quite an important part. He said, "That's not up to me, but I hope others see that and can make a positive judgment about it." Now, the reason I'm saying why is that an important question is because he went into detail about it after. And if we were to have this conversation in 5, 6, 7 years' time, however long you want to go for, and Erik Ten Hag is asked about, what was your legacy at United? Maybe this will give a little bit of a clue as to what he wants to leave behind, what his actual proper ambitions are and his plans are. This is what he said. When I think of the structure at Ajax, I first of all think that our way of playing football and of the way we play, that was clear. But the professionalization of the organisation, in the field of sport has also undergone a good development. I'm talking about the cooperation between the different parts of the club, the medical, the performance, the technical, the encapsulation of Ajax's youth team within the club, and the management of it is a good example. And you think about everything that's wrong at Manchester United and how all parts of the club aren't working together and how we need somebody to come in and lead and steer that direction. Of course, John Murtough's doing that now from a footballing side behind the scenes. But Erik Ten Hag will ultimately make that work as a football club in total with how we play. And he wants to get it all linked up there. That's what his ambitions are. To leave something behind at Manchester United, it's far, far better than what he's about to inherit. There are foundations there. There are glimmers. There are diamonds. But there's a lot of polishing that has to happen. And he's done it at Ajax, and he's leaving Ajax with a great legacy. And he is leaving Ajax in a far better position than when he came in as manager. That interview there with Voetbal International, that puts a real smile on my face. I think it should put a smile on your face, because it really gives that insight into the man as well as the manager. And now what I'm going to do is run through the second interview. Now, big up to the European lad on Twitter for transcribing this from Mike Vivage's interview from De Telegraph, where he goes in, he speaks about a few other things. As I said, these are the first interviews of Ten Hag as United's manager. Really exciting. Make sure you drop a like on the video, by the way. A lot of research does go into these videos, so I do appreciate if you can drop a like on it. It does support the channel. And subscribe if you're new. Why not? Let's go into it. He said, from the 16th of May, and that's today, by the way, I am the manager of Manchester United. A lot has to happen in preparation for the new season, such as the implementation of the staff members and the squad for next season. I will make my mark on both, and I want it to be done extremely carefully. Again, we're reiterating here. You saw my not my conversation I had with Steve McLaren. If you saw my video I did on the podcast from the McLaren Performance, Josh and Steve, Steve's son, Josh, that was a bit confusing. Anyway, Steve was speaking about the meticulous nature of Erik Ten Hag, how it all has to be perfect. He's planning it all. That's what he's doing. I think he's using this week, I think he's probably going to stay in Holland, just staying away from prying eyes, looking at all the plans and really starting to do things properly and how he wants to do it. As he said, he's now manager of Manchester United. First time we've heard that. That's exciting. So what else he said? He said, I look forward to working with Ronaldo. Ronaldo is a giant because of everything he has shown so far and because of how ambitious he is. I want to keep him at Manchester United, of course. He has been very important for the club and can produce the great stats. I didn't... Yeah, okay, maybe for 1 second I did think Ronaldo could leave. But I think Ten Hag's going to have the sort of ambition that Ronaldo's going to go, ooh, okay, yeah, this will set the tone. I think Ronaldo's trying to do that on his own, but when you've got an interim manager and the players aren't buying into that and he's kind of doing it all on his own, he doesn't have the support. The Ten Hag's got the ambition to take United right back to the top. And Ronaldo, I don't think he'll be here for more than 2 years now, maximum 2 years. I think it'll probably be one more season, but Ronaldo's going nowhere, baby. And I think Ten Hag will be able to coach him properly and coach his team properly to get the most out of Ronaldo and stop having him run about everywhere. Because he shouldn't be doing that at 37. He should just be scoring goals. Ten Hag was also asked about Scholes and Ferdinand and their opinions. He goes, this has influence, but it cannot influence the dressing room. Maybe the criticism is bigger over there because the Premier League is bigger. Fortunately, I have a lot of baggage to cope with this. Now that should, I think, that's an extremely, extremely important thing. United need to close the doors of the dressing room and bolt them shut. For too long, there's been so many outside influences. Of course, that's the way that modern football has gone. There is a lot more influence on every single player from every single direction that previously they wouldn't have had. But he's got to tighten that ship. Scholes, Ferdinand, Neville, just like me, are absolutely entitled to their opinions. Everybody's allowed their opinion. But there are certain people like Scholes, Ferdinand, and Neville who can influence that dressing room. Ten Hag should be now the only influential voice that exists there now. And as he said, he's got baggage. He's had situations that have developed at Ajax that he's coped with and he's dealt with. And he's got a lot to deal with at United. But again, him speaking about that should be, again, a big reason, I think, to put a smile on your face. Because we need to get control of that. It's all about control. Having had control, a manager who's had control for a while. Ten Hag will have that, man. This is what else he said. I'm 100% I'm capable of looking every player straight in the eyes. I'm 100% certain of that. I make all my choices in good conscience. The team stands above everything else. I choose the players that I believe give us the most chance of winning. Again, this is something that United have just not been for a long time. We've not been a truly functioning team. We've had individual moments, of course. Individual FC for the last few years. We've had 45-minute periods where we look like a good team. But then a week later, we look like shit again. We have to be that team, that functioning team. And he's not going to do anything. He's got no emotional attachment to any of these players, apart from Donny van der Beek and maybe Frenkie de Jong if they come in. But he's going to have a clean slate with everybody. He's going to work with everybody the exact same. And it's all towards Manchester United. I've now got the same agenda as Erik Ten Hag. I want what is best for United. That's the only agenda I've ever had here on United People's TV. Some might think I've gone in a little bit too harsh on Harry Maguire. I've done that because I felt like it was necessary. I felt like as captain of Manchester United, I couldn't just ignore that. And it got worse and worse and worse. And my opinion got stronger. But Ten Hag has United's best interests at heart. And I actually think Ralf Rangnick has done the whole time as well, to be fair. This is what else he says. My time at Ajax couldn't have gone better. Maybe if I won the Champions League or the Europa League, but it's not realistic to win all possible trophies. Ajax is now the most dominant club in the country again. I can be satisfied with that. I think he absolutely can be. I think he's leaving behind a good legacy at Ajax. Because I had choices to work at a different club than Manchester United with a better foundation. But I chose Manchester United. Things have to get addressed there, and that's the challenge. The club and me are on the same wavelength about how I want to do this. Now, that might well be your favourite quote from all of these interviews. Ten Hag there confirming he could have gone somewhere else. He could have gone somewhere else apart from United that would probably have been an easier job. Better foundations, success more likely immediately. But instead, he's gone to the place which is probably the more difficult job, the harder job, with bigger risk, bigger reward. And he's risking his own legacy on being able to turn Manchester United around. That fills me with real excitement. He goes on here and he says, I've received a few WhatsApp messages from United players. Welcome to the club. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? United players great at WhatsApp. Shame the crap of football. Timber and Antony are circulating to go with you. He goes, I think all top clubs could have Timber in their sight. If Antony would go, it would be a blow for Ajax because in the current squad, there is nobody to replace him. Kind of a little bit of a hint there towards the fact that he thinks that they could probably replace Timber, I suppose, in the same way they replaced Matthias de Ligt with Timber. They could replace Timber with another academy product. Antony they brought in from Sao Paulo and has become a great player. So I don't personally think he'll leave Ajax this year, but I hope that Timber does, and I hope he joins United. But that there, ladies and gents, they were the first 2 proper interviews from Erik Ten Hag as Manchester United's manager, where he went into real full detail about his plans at the club, his ambitions for the club, why he chose the club, and what he plans to do with the club. I mean, it's been a rocky few years for United, and that's putting it politely. We've been a bit of a joke as a football club on and off the pitch for a long time. Dysfunctional is being polite. Erik Ten Hag, as he said there, he's on the same wavelength as the club now. His ambition is to get United back to that top table, to elbow Klopp and Guardiola off that table and to take that back as United's. Let's see how this journey goes. Maybe it won't work out, but I'll tell you what, I've got more optimism about United's future under this man right now than I have had at any point post-Fergie. And that's not me being unfair on Mourinho or Solskjaer or Van Gaal or Moyes. It's just the truth. I think the club functioning behind the scenes, I think that's changed. And I think it's going more towards a modern football club. And this man, with his ambition and his track record as a great coach, I think we're in for the future's looking brighter for United, that's for sure. You can let me know what you think about these interviews in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you've got some insight into the real reasons he chose Manchester United.